싶어서 되게 궁금해 하시겠다라는 생각이 되게 많이 들겠다라는 그런 생각이.
Lovely viewers, welcome back to another deep and heartfelt journey into the world of one of the most admired and respected women in the Korean entertainment industry, the beautiful song Hye Kyo. Today we are going to explore a touching declaration that has moved fans worldwide, a statement that shines with hope, vulnerability, and courage. In her own words, Song Hye Kyo has declared, "I choose love over my painful past," and this single statement has sent waves across the entertainment community, stirring up countless emotions. Together, let's walk through this story not as distant spectators, but as part of an intimate conversation, a gathering of hearts where every viewer is welcome to reflect, to feel, and to connect with her on a level deeper than just stardom. Imagine, dear friends, the life of a woman who has not only faced the spotlight of fame but also the piercing glare of judgment, speculation, and heartbreak. Song Hye Kyo is not just an actress we see on screen. She is a woman who has lived through love stories, public scrutiny, personal struggles, and quiet nights where the world never sees her tears. But through it all, she has chosen something profoundly powerful: love. Isn't it incredible how someone can rise above the storms of the past and boldly choose light instead of being consumed by shadows? As you sit with me in this moment, let's reflect on what it really means when she says she chooses love. What kind of strength does it take to say this? What kind of healing does it signify? For many fans, Song Hye Kyo's journey feels like watching a friend grow, stumble, fall, and rise again. She has lived her most vulnerable moments in public, and yet she carries herself with grace. When she speaks of choosing love, she is not just referring to romance. It's about choosing life, choosing hope, choosing to let go of bitterness and embrace a new chapter. That decision is one we can all relate to in our personal lives. How many of us have been through painful seasons? How many have felt that temptation to remain stuck in the past? And yet, hearing her say those words becomes a reminder for all of us that healing is possible, that we too can choose love when pain tries to define us. Let us walk through her world together, step by step, and imagine what this declaration really means. Think of the career that made her a household name. Song Hye Kyo has graced some of the most iconic dramas, works that carved her into the memory of millions. From the youthful charm in Autumn in My Heart to the strong, elegant performances later in her career, she has carried roles that mirror both beauty and pain. In many ways, her characters reflect pieces of her own reality. Women who love deeply, lose painfully, but eventually find a way to keep moving forward. Doesn't that parallel strike you, lovely viewers? Isn't it almost as if her art and her life are interwoven in a tapestry of lessons about love and survival? But what about the pain she speaks of? What about the past she references when she says she chooses love over it? As fans, we know that she has endured heartbreaks that played out under the merciless eyes of the public. She has been scrutinized for her relationships, her choices, even her silences. Every smile, every tear, every step she took was magnified. And yet, when we see her today, declaring her choice of love, we are reminded that pain did not consume her. Instead, it shaped her into someone who understands love on a deeper level. She could have let bitterness grow roots in her soul, but she did not. She chose something better. She chose to rise. And dear friends, isn't this the lesson we all need? How often do we find ourselves prisoners of the past, hurt by betrayals, weighed down by regrets, or haunted by the scars of yesterday? Yet here we are, hearing Song Hye Kyo speak courage into our lives. When she says she chooses love, she tells us that it is possible to move forward, to embrace new beginnings, to give ourselves permission to be happy again. Isn't that powerful? Doesn't it touch something inside you, reminding you that no matter how hard life has been, we too can make that same choice? Let's also pause to think about what this means for her future. If she is openly embracing love, does this mean she is ready to explore romance again? Could there be someone special quietly supporting her behind the scenes? Fans are buzzing with curiosity, wondering if her words hint at a new chapter of companionship, perhaps even a love story waiting to unfold. Whether or not that is true, what truly matters is that she has opened her heart again. To choose love is to declare that life is not over, that beauty still lies ahead, that she deserves joy just as much as anyone else. And lovely viewers, doesn't that inspire you to believe in your own tomorrows? As we share this space together, I want you to really imagine Song Hye Kyo's voice saying these words. Picture her with that calm, graceful aura, speaking with sincerity. Imagine her eyes holding both strength and vulnerability as she declares, "I choose love over my painful past." Doesn't it feel like she is not just speaking to the media, but to each of us personally? almost like she is reminding us, her fans and supporters, that our love for her is not wasted, because she is choosing to embrace it instead of shutting herself away. That's the beauty of her spirit. She allows us to walk this emotional journey with her. Now let's turn this into a conversation between us. Lovely viewers, what would you do if you were in her shoes? Would you choose love, even after all the heartbreak and public judgment? Would you risk being vulnerable again? Think about the people in your life who have hurt you. Think about the scars you carry. Can you imagine yourself standing in front of the world and declaring that you still choose love? This is the challenge song Hye Kyo's words bring to us. It is not just her story. It becomes our story too, because we all wrestle with a decision to either hold on to pain or to let love lead us forward. And let's not forget the cultural weight she carries. In the Korean entertainment industry, women like Song Hye Kyo face enormous pressure. They are expected to be flawless, to never stumble, to never show weakness. Yet, here she is, boldly saying she has been through pain but will not let it define her. She declares love not as weakness, but as strength. Isn't that the kind of role model we need? Someone who doesn't pretend life is perfect, but still chooses to live with hope. Someone who shows us that being broken once does not mean being broken forever. Lovely viewers, the beauty of her declaration is that it applies to more than just romantic love. Choosing love over pain can also mean choosing to love yourself after years of being too harsh on your own soul. It can mean choosing to love your journey, even if it is filled with scars. It can mean choosing to love your present, even if your past was unbearable. That's what Song Hye Kyo's statement embodies. It's a philosophy of survival, of resilience, of learning to smile again after tears have dried. And don't we all need that reminder in our own lives? Imagine for a moment the fans who have followed her since her earliest roles. For them, her words feel almost like a gift. They have watched her grow from a young actress to an international star, and now to a woman who speaks with wisdom born from pain. When she says she chooses love, it is not just her victory. It feels like a collective victory for everyone who has rooted for her. It's as if she is saying to her fans, "Don't give up. If I can choose love, so can you." And that is why her declaration matters so much. It carries healing not only for her but for all who listen. As we continue this conversation, let's think about the ripple effect of her words. How many fans, struggling with their own heartbreaks, will be inspired to let go of bitterness because of her? How many people will look at their own pasts differently after hearing her speak? How many of us, watching from our own corners of the world, will take courage and decide that love is still worth believing in? That is the impact of a true icon, not just entertaining us on screen but transforming hearts off screen. Now let me turn to you again, my lovely viewers. If Song Hye Kyo were sitting with us right now, what would you want to say to her? Would you thank her for her honesty? Would you tell her how much her courage inspires you? Would you share your own story of choosing love over pain? Take a moment to reflect on that, because in many ways, this conversation isn't complete without your voice. She has opened her heart, and now we, her fans, are invited to open ours too. And perhaps this is the greatest takeaway from today's story. That love is always a choice. Pain is inevitable, but it does not have to be permanent. Song Hye Kyo shows us that even after years of scars, it is possible to stand tall and embrace love again. Whether that love is for another person, for family, for friends, or for ourselves, the choice is ours. We chose love. Will you? Lovely viewers, as we draw this reflection to a close, let us hold on to this powerful truth. Song Hye Kyo's declaration is more than just a celebrity headline. It is a reminder to each of us that life's beauty lies not in avoiding pain, but in rising above it. She is a living testament that no matter how broken the past may be, the heart has the power to heal, to forgive, and to love again. And in this shared journey of storytelling and reflection, may we all leave with the courage to declare the same in our own lives. I choose love over my painful past. It is something that deserves to be explored layer by layer, like unfolding the petals of a flower that blooms again after a long winter. When we paused earlier, we reflected on the power of her declaration and how it extends beyond her personal life to touch her fans, her culture, and even the universal human condition. But there is still so much more to unpack, and together, we will walk further into this inspiring narrative, letting her story become a mirror for our own. Now think for a moment about the meaning of that word, choice. Song Hye Kyo did not say she stumbled into love, or that love simply came her way. No, she deliberately said, I choose. That word is full of power, isn't it? It suggests intention, strength, and courage. Choosing love means she is not letting her past control her anymore. She has decided, with full awareness of everything she's been through, to open her heart again. And that is where the true beauty of her declaration lies. Because choosing love is not always easy. It means risking pain, risking rejection, risking criticism. But it also means giving yourself the chance to experience joy, warmth, and new beginnings. Lovely viewers, how many of us hesitate to choose love because we fear repeating the mistakes of the past? And yet, here is a woman who has faced far greater public scrutiny than we can imagine, and still she chooses. Isn't that a lesson for us? Fans around the world have been buzzing since her words made headlines. Social media lit up with messages of support, admiration, and even personal confessions. One fan wrote, "Hearing Song Hye Kyo say she chooses love makes me believe I can do the same, even though my past has been full of heartbreak." Another commented, "She has always been strong, but now she is also showing us how healing looks." Isn't it touching, dear viewers, to see how her vulnerability inspires others to open up? That is the gift of authenticity. When one person dares to speak their truth, it creates a ripple that encourages countless others to do the same. And let us imagine, just for a moment, what it must feel like for Song Hye Kyo herself. After years of enduring whispers, rumors, and the heavy weight of public curiosity, to stand tall and declare love is a radical act of self-liberation. Can you picture her sitting in a quiet room after that statement, feeling both relief and empowerment? Can you imagine the peace that must wash over her, knowing she is no longer defined by her past, but by the choice she has made for her future? That moment is not just about words. It is about reclaiming her narrative, about telling the world, "I am more than my pain." But let us go deeper, lovely friends. What kind of love is she choosing? Is it romantic love with someone new? Is it the love of family, the love of self, or perhaps the love of life itself? Maybe it is all of these combined. Because when someone like Song Hye Kyo speaks, it rarely has a single meaning. It resonates on multiple levels. Choosing love could mean she is finally allowing herself to embrace new relationships without fear. It could mean she has decided to stop criticizing herself for past mistakes and instead love herself with compassion. Or it could mean she has chosen to see the world with fresh eyes, to appreciate beauty and kindness again, to let her soul be open rather than closed. Lovely viewers, what do you think? When you hear her words, which form of love do you believe she is talking about? Another dimension we cannot overlook is how this declaration affects her artistic journey. As an actress, Song Hye Kyo has always poured pieces of her soul into her roles. Her past performances carried shades of heartbreak and resilience, often leaving us wondering how much of her personal life bled into her art. But now that she has declared love, what kind of roles might she embrace in the future? Could we see her take on characters who embody hope, healing, and mature love? Could this choice reflect not only in her personal life but also in the stories she brings to life on screen? Isn't it exciting to imagine her future projects infused with this new energy of love? Lovely viewers, let's bring this closer to home. Imagine yourself standing at a crossroads. Behind you lies pain, regret, broken promises. Ahead of you lies the unknown. Uncertain, yes, but full of possibility. What would you choose? Many of us find it easier to keep glancing back, replaying what went wrong. But Song Hye Kyo shows us that real courage lies in stepping forward. When she chooses love, she chooses the unknown with faith. She chooses to believe that her heart is still capable of joy, that the future can still hold beauty. Isn't that the kind of bravery we all long for in our lives? And perhaps the most moving part of all is how inclusive her words feel. She did not say, "I choose love because I found someone." She did not tie her statement to a specific person or relationship. She made it broad, universal, and timeless. "I choose love over my painful past." That is a declaration anyone can embrace, regardless of whether they are single, married, divorced, or somewhere in between. It is a reminder that love is not just something we receive. It is something we choose, something we cultivate, something we embody in our daily lives. Lovely friends, as we continue to reflect, let us not forget the importance of community in her journey. Song Hye Kyo may have made this decision alone, But she did not walk her path alone. She had fans, friends, colleagues, and perhaps even quiet supporters who gave her strength along the way. And that's where you, my dear viewers, come in. Every word of encouragement, every show of support, every message of love you have given her has helped build the foundation for her to make this choice. Doesn't it feel beautiful to know that we, as fans, are not just spectators but participants in her healing journey? So where do we go from here? We continue the conversation. We take her words and reflect them back into our own lives. We ask ourselves, am I still letting my painful past define me? Or am I ready to declare that I choose love too? And when we make that choice, we honor her courage by living it out in our own unique ways. Lovely viewers, as we close this continuation, let us hold on to this. Song Hye Kyo's story is not finished, and neither is ours. Her declaration is not an ending, but a beginning of love, of hope, of healing. And in the same way, each of us can begin again too. Together, let us carry her words in our hearts like a guiding light, a reminder that no matter what we have endured, love is always worth choosing. And from here, the journey becomes even more meaningful, because now we step beyond just reflecting on Song Hye Kyo's declaration. We start to live it. Imagine her story as a seed planted in your own heart, growing into something that influences your decisions, your relationships, and even the way you see yourself. Isn't it incredible how the life of one woman, thousands of miles away, can ripple across oceans and touch the lives of people who have never even met her? That is the power of truth spoken with courage. Let us pause for a moment and imagine how Song Hye Kyo might feel knowing that her simple statement has become a source of strength for countless people. Perhaps she never intended her words to carry such weight. Perhaps she was just speaking from her heart. But when someone speaks honestly, the universe has a way of amplifying that message to those who need it most. Think about yourself, dear friend. Maybe there is a part of you that has been waiting for permission to heal, waiting for a sign that it's okay to let go of the past. Maybe her words are that sign for you. Doesn't that feel like more than coincidence? And what about the fans who carry her story like a torch in their own lives? Some might be going through heartbreak right now, standing in the ruins of a relationship, wondering if they will ever trust love again. Others might be dealing with different kinds of pain, loss, failure, regret. To them, Song Hye Kyo's declaration is not just about romance, but about resilience. It says, even when life has tried to break you, you can still choose to rise, you can still choose to open your heart, you can still choose to live. Lovely viewers, isn't that something each of us needs to hear at least once in our lives? Let's also think about what this means for her career moving forward. Song Hye Kyo has always been admired for her professionalism, her elegance, and her ability to captivate audiences with roles that leave lasting impressions. But now, with this new perspective of choosing love, perhaps her acting will reach even deeper emotional levels. Imagine her taking on roles where the characters reflect this same wisdom, where the narrative is about overcoming pain and embracing hope. Wouldn't it be beautiful to see her embody on screen the same philosophy she has declared in her life? Fans would not only watch her act but also witness her personal growth mirrored in her art. Now let me turn this to you once again, my lovely viewers. What do you think it means to choose love? For some, it might mean giving someone else a second chance. For others, it might mean learning to forgive yourself for past mistakes. And for many, it might mean simply allowing joy into your life after seasons of sorrow. Song Hye Kyo's words are like an open invitation for all of us to define love in our own way, and to embrace it despite the pain we've faced. So tell me, if you were sitting face to face with her right now and she asked you, what does choosing love mean to you? What would your answer be? It's also worth considering how her declaration challenges the culture around her. In an industry where women are often judged harshly for their personal lives, where every decision is picked apart by the media, Song Hye Kyo's choice is revolutionary. She is not asking for sympathy or hiding behind silence. She is standing in her truth and daring to live openly. That is an act of defiance against a world that wants to keep women defined by their pain. Instead, she redefines herself with love. And isn't that something that resonates far beyond her own story? It becomes a statement for women everywhere,